What's up, fight fans? Welcome to Sportskeeda MMA's daily news roundup for February 22nd. Emotions are running high with Jorge Masvidal as he recently popped off on Nate Diaz when asked about a potential rematch. Masvidal's main event slot against bitter rival Colby Covington at UFC 272 has seen the two combatants' history sit at the forefront of UFC drama. However, Masvidal put that aside for a minute to blast Nate Diaz on a Q&A video for ducking the rematch. That doesn't want it, man. I almost damn near killed him. I beat him an inch within his f***ing skinny life. You saw his last fight with Leon. I was like, man, they make that mistake and put this guy in there with me again, you know? He's not trying to fight. That little broomstick keeps talking. You're gonna have to go at some point, you know? I take Colby's ass out. If I gotta wait for Usman, it could be you that gets this whooping, bro. Let's go, man. I'm gonna break your face, bro. No doubt the history, the fans doubting him after dropping 2 to Usman, and even the pressure of staying a relevant contender can be powerful factors. But the exact same thing can be said for Colby. One thing's for sure, both men are poised to try and take each other's heads, and elite UFC fighters Gilbert Burns and Joanna Jędrzejczyk have sided with Masvidal to upset Covington. Do you think Masvidal is looking past Covington by even entertaining the idea of a Nate Diaz rematch? One thing is true, Masvidal is not unrealistic about his MMA prowess. In the same Q&A, Masvidal was asked about how he would fare against one of the greatest fighters ever in Georges St-Pierre. Masvidal gave nothing but credit to St-Pierre. It's one of those fights. It's like a nightmare matchup for me, but those are the fights that I wanted. Obviously, I'm going to put the money on me. I'm going to be going for his chin the whole time with flying knees, hoping I get him to duck into something bad, you know, and make it into a war. But GSP's one of the best ever. I would have loved to be standing in front of the cage across that guy and just giving it my all to take his ass out. GSP would have been a sizable favorite for sure, but it probably would have been one of those instant classic UFC fights. Does the way Masvidal see a fight against GSP at all represent how his fight with Covington could go down? Jake Paul might be competing in MMA very soon, and may have just found a new home. Paul was recently seen training kicks at the same gym that Wiz Khalifa goes to, and posted this short video on Instagram with the caption that reads, "First day training kicks, doubted every step of the way, but kicked down the doors of the doubters," and tagged both Bellator and PFL. Famous hip-hop artist Wiz Khalifa has been a die-hard MMA fan for quite some time, but he also has a sweet side gig as part owner of the PFL, which happens to be one of the most successful MMA promotions today. After being told that Paul trained kicks at the Unbreakable Performance Center, Khalifa was then asked if he was open to signing Jake Paul to the PFL, and had this to say: "It'll be tight if he fought for the PFL. He's a cool guy, so wherever he ends up, he's gonna bring a lot of excitement." Wiz Khalifa thinks Jake Paul could do well in MMA, but time will tell, especially when Paul aims for the stars, recently calling out lightweight goat Khabib Nurmagomedov. However, it's unclear as to when Jake Paul will step into the octagon. He may be too comfortable cashing in Triller boxing checks to actually make the move, but one thing's for sure, he loves proving people wrong. Who would you realistically like to see Jake Paul fight in his first MMA match? Do you think Paul will cherry pick his opponents like he has in boxing? Recently, the friendship we never knew we needed between Khamzat Chimaev and Darren Till became even stronger. Darren Till took a trip to Sweden to train with Chimaev at his gym at All Stars. Alongside Chimaev trained UFC veterans Alexander Gustafsson and Reza Madadi. In a video posted by Block Access, an exhausted Till can be seen philosophically discussing the fight game. "I don't have an ego here. I'm here to get beat up, to learn." Chimaev was on the same wavelength and had this to say: "Nice to work with the best guys in the world. I love it. I work on the grappling and wrestling, he'll learn something. Next time we work on the striking, I learn something. It works like that. I'm happy he's here." Darren Till is now recovering from his ACL injury sustained against Derek Brunson last year, and looks forward to returning to the octagon sometime this summer against either Sean Strickland or Jack Hermanson. How much of an impact will Khamzat Chimaev have on Darren Till's MMA skill set? And last but not least, Bobby Green's stock grows higher and higher with the entire MMA world as he calls out the rest of the lightweight division for ducking Islam Makhachev. Earlier this month, Green demolished Nasrat Haqparast at UFC 271 and quickly accepted a short-notice fight with possible title implications against Makhachev after Beneil Dariush suffered an ankle injury and was forced to withdraw. In a recent interview on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, Green was fired up about his willingness to step into the octagon with Makhachev over his lightweight counterparts. First, he described the nature of the short-notice call. "I found out like 5 days ago. I was on vacation. He called me and I was like, Jason, I'm on vacation right now. I just got into a fight and I'm fat as I'm like 195 pounds and I've got to cut to 55. People don't realize I'm a big guy. The next day I'm 175 pounds after weigh-ins. I went to all-you-can-eat sushi. I enjoyed myself, and the next thing you know, I'm 195 pounds. I'm not gonna get all the way to 55. I'll do 160 for you guys to make the show still happen. But you're not gonna make me jump through all these hoops to make your show happen and I'm not getting something back. Then King Green went for the jugular. I know already the top 10 guys. Hooker said it best. All these got the call first. I guarantee you all those guys were They want to wait and pick their turns. I feel like they hold their cards in and wait for the right time to pull out their ace. Like, no, sometimes you gotta jump on it and take it the way it is. Now I'm jumping all over you guys because why? You're too take the opportunity. That about does it for Sportskeeda MMA's daily recap of the most exciting news from the MMA world. Here is one final question for you fight fans. Does Islam Makhachev still deserve a title shot even if he runs through the unranked Bobby Green? Does Bobby Green deserve a title shot if he achieves the unthinkable and defeats Makhachev? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to follow Sportskeeda MMA on all our social media platforms. I'm Alex, and as always, thanks for tuning in.